Hi guys, it's Dakota. So first let me apologize for the way that I'm sort of disheveled today. I've been working, I worked Sunday, Monday, and then today is Tuesday. We're trying to get ready for our Samhain ritual, which is going to happen this coming Sunday. And I needed to get everything cleaned. I needed to get everything that I needed for ritual out. I needed to write the ritual, get everything structured, and I've just had, and plus I still had to do grocery shopping and all, the regular chore things. And I just have been running, and I thought, I'm not going to do a video today because I have so much to do. And so I ate lunch, and after lunch I just needed, like sometimes I just need a moment of pure quiet time where I'm not meditating, I'm not journeying, I'm not doing any trance, I'm not, no music, no TV. The animals were sleeping, the dog was asleep in the bedroom, and the cat was on the bed sleeping. The husband is gone, and I just had silence. I just truly wanted some silence. And so, of course, it's very, very hard for me being a Gemini and having this squirrel mind that I have. I can never turn it off. I sleep terribly. It's really bad. I'm just, and I take melatonin to help, but it might help me fall asleep, but it doesn't help me stay asleep, if that makes sense. I'm awake probably 4 or 5 times a night. It's just, it's draining. Anyway, so anyway, that's why I look the way I look. And I was not going to do a video, but when I got done doing sort of this quiet work, well, it wasn't work. I just was trying to just be quiet for a moment and realized I wasn't doing a very good job at it. One of the things, because I was thinking about Samhain, because that's what I'm working on right now, trying to get it ready. And one of the things that kept rolling through my head, last week I did a class on Samhain, or I taught the witchcraft class, and it was on Samhain, giving the history and the roots and just what Samhain is all about. And one of the things that we talk about, of course, is that it's a liminal time, and the veil is really thin at this time of year. It's a great time to commune with ancestors or spirit, those that have gone before us. And I think sometimes when you know something, and you know it well, it becomes very difficult to try to explain it to someone who really doesn't know, who doesn't know it at all. And because there's that, and there's a funny backstory that goes to this that I'm not going to go into, but I'm just saying, sometimes it's kind of difficult to, what do you mean you don't, you should understand this, but then you have to realize that some people just don't. They've never heard of it, or they've just never, that's why they're there. They're there to learn. So it's your job to try to teach them. Well, anyway, I taught the class, and it went well, and I had my inner circle there for support, and they gave their experience of liminal time on it. So I hope that everybody got what I was trying to, got what that represents. Anyway, well, the next day I was at my kitchen sink washing dishes, and our woods, the creek is about, I don't know, I'm just going to say 150 feet. I'm not good with measurements, but it's probably 150 feet from the house. And that's all woods. Like, you can't just see the creek. You have to, well, the woods line the creek. I know. Anyway. But, so but our woods here, they're not pretty. They're not a pretty woods. We don't have, they're sort of, I don't know, they're not pretty. Nevertheless, they're trees and they're nature, and it gives home for all of the critters, and it gives us oxygen, and so it's part of Mother Earth. So I respect and I love it. Well, I'm doing dishes, and I look out, and typically during the summer the woods are very dense. You can't see anything. You cannot see through them. They're just very, very dense. But I looked up and I could see light coming from the other side, from across the creek, which is also our land, our property, and I could see the light coming through, and I went, wow, that's weird. So when I got done, I went outside and I walked up to the woods and I was looking. I'm like, oh, wow. I never really stopped to realize that during this time of year, we don't have seasons here like they do up north. When it's fall, winter here, all you get is green leaves that fall on the ground. I mean, we don't have the color changes that they have in other places. And so you don't really notice it. Like you really don't. I mean, you do, but not like you do up north. And so as I'm looking at the woods and the amount of leaves that had already fallen, and really how much light was coming through the woods, I sort of had this moment of, and I hope this will make some sense to you, but it was a moment of experiencing that liminal time in the physical realm, if that makes sense. So, because what was dense is now, I can see beyond that. So the outside of the woods is still fairly dense. It's still fairly dense, although some of the leaves are starting to drop. But when I got closer and I peeked in, I could see how much the inside woods, which obviously doesn't get as much sunlight as the outside of the woods, I just really got that feeling of as if I was looking at liminal time, at liminal space. And it really touched me on this different level because I do a lot, as you know, I do a lot of journey work. I do a lot of ancestor work. I work with spirit. I do trance work. I love ritual that has an enormous amount of electric egregore cone of power. I love that, to where you're so overcome with energy that you literally you just freeze for that moment, because that's that moment when you are transitioning from this realm into that liminal time, that liminal space. But that's experiencing that, at least for me, and I'm only talking for me. So those of you out there that have experienced something different would love to hear it. This is what I'm all about. I would love to hear it. But for me, that's more on a spiritual level. I feel it physically because I get all goosebumpy and it just tingly, and I love the feeling. But this hit me as a physical experience, where if I would just step past the front part of the woods, which you can't just step past it, but I'm just saying, if you could, and put your foot in, it was almost like through, like Alice in Wonderland, when she pokes her head through. I think that was a movie, but whatever movie it is, they can poke their head through the mirror and see that. That's kind of what I felt like, that if I just went forward, I would be I would be in that liminal space. It's what it felt like. Not that it was. I'm just saying that that's what the experience on a physical level felt like. So then I started, of course, dissecting that and going deeper into that. And I started thinking about thresholds. I started thinking about the crossroads, which I do work with deity at and crossroads, specific to the crossroads. And but I really started thinking about thresholds and gateways. But I was thinking about them in terms of that spiritual place. And as I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm doing this, I'm just looking around because I'm just thinking, and I glance over at the door, at the front door, and because this was in the house, and my dining room, when I open my front door, I can see the woods right there. And so sometimes that's what I do. If I don't want to go outside and get eaten by bugs or whatever in the summer, or it's too cold in the winter, I'll just open the door and sit and stare out the door. But just staring at the woods, but then I realized, oh, I'm inside my house looking outside my door. And the only thing separating me inside from the outside is that door, is that gateway, is that threshold. That threshold is liminal space. That is liminal space. The threshold. You go from one to the other. Wow. I mean, it was really, really fascinating for me to, once again, experience that. I'm just sitting there looking at the door, but I'm looking through the glass door at the woods, and then realize I'm inside looking outside, and the only thing preventing me from going out there, of course, is to open the door and go out. But that was me being in, looking out. And the way to get there is to cross that threshold. Cross that threshold. And it was really, really fascinating. The experience was really fascinating. So then, of course, I'm trying to do it with all kinds of things now. I'm trying to. What else is a threshold? And the crossroads, definitely a threshold. Definitely a threshold. And we can talk about that some other time. I don't want to talk about it now. It's deep, and for me, it's personal and it's involved. But I will talk about that sometime. But it's that liminal time, or that liminal space. It's that betwixt and between. It's that in between time of no time. We teach that in the class. It's a time of no time, a place of no place. And even though the experience that I had with the woods thinning, and yet there was still that layer of dense, is what opened up that whole thing for me. That this must be what liminal time looks like, and is really, really cool. I loved it, and I'm working with it now. I'm working with it a little bit more on different levels, and you should probably try it sometime if you haven't already experienced that on a physical level. Is do some work with that and try to experience that on a physical level, and it may very well take you to that deeper level of that liminal time or liminal space on your spiritual quest as well. So, and that's kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen with the work that I'm doing on this now. And mind you, I mean, well, I've been teaching this for this, we're just completing our 6th year now. And plus my training that I had, plus my training that I had before that, and my solitary work, and the training that I do on my own, the work that I do on my own, mentors that I have now, the learning process is never ending. And I continue to want to go deeper and understand more than just what's on that mundane level. And to be told that, well, Samhain is a liminal time of year. It's a time of no time and a space of no and the veil is getting thin, and you know what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? And to experience it on a physical level helps you, I think, grow on a spiritual level. And I'm working right now, not this week because I'm trying to get this thing done, which reminds me I better get off of here and finish getting ready. I have to work the rest of the week, so I probably won't get a whole lot done because when I get home from work, I am in no mood to be working, cleaning and prepping and stuff like that. Although I'm always nosing a book or, you know, something. But anyway, yes, I just wanted to kind of share that with you because it was it was really like a profound moment in very simple terms. All I did was see some light coming through the woods and went, wow, I wonder why I can see light. And when I went out there, it was sort of that, oh, like I had that, you know, I had that wavy energy feeling of, whoa, this is interesting. And again, I had that feeling again when I was inside looking out at the woods and looking at the threshold, looking at the door and the threshold. And I used to keep a little gree bag or mojo bag above my door for protection. But I have other means that I work with now. But I was reflecting on that, thinking, oh yeah, I remember I used to have a, you know, little bag up there, and then started going, huh, huh, that's a threshold. That's a threshold. And what you're seeing is the other side of it right now. You're seeing the other side of that. Really cool. Because you can see it any time. Just go to your front door, look out a window, and then open your window. I mean, it's the same thing. So, but don't just look at it and go, oh yeah, huh. Look at it from within, you know, look at it from here. And if you're trying to elevate that spiritual level that you have, so that you're able to go deeper uh, and grow, because that's what it's all about. So, all right. So I'm going to end this because I really do. I have so much to do. And I'm going to go. I'm going to finish doing that. And thanks for putting up with the grunge look here. And if you celebrate Samhain, I want to just wish you the best of it at this very trying times. And don't forget. I mean, we're still going through trying times, but you know, here's the thing: we still have to be grateful for what we have now and where we are. And there's so much negative out there right now, so much emphasis on the negative, and I'm really working on trying to change it. It's very hard because look, I get caught up in all this stuff as well. I'm human. But I know that when we feed an energy, that is a type of manifestation, truly, because I mean, it's not only is it what I learned on this path, what I was taught on this path, but it is what I teach. And that is, words are powerful. Words are manifestations. So you have to be careful what you say and what you think and what you do. So all the negativity the negative posts that are going on Facebook and whatever social media and all of that. You don't want this, you don't want that, and blah, blah, blah. Be careful, because the universe doesn't hear every single word, and you might just very well be manifesting that which you don't want. So quit feeding the dragon, quit feeding the monsters, and change that around. If you don't want that, what do you want? And start putting out the more positive as to what you do want. So with that being said, although Samhain 2020 is crazy, crazy time. This whole year has been crazy. We have a lot of things going on just on on October 31st. I don't know where September, where that came from. October 31st, it's a blue moon, so it's the second full moon of October. Here in the United States, we set our clocks back. Now, I don't think every state does. I know Arizona does not. We do here in Eastern North Carolina, so we're going to be setting our clocks back an hour, which I don't like, but it is what it is. And it's a time of going inward and reflection. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be remembering the ancestors, not just my blood ancestors, but those that came before, those that carved a positive path, or those that carved a path, and it's up to you to choose which one you want to walk. And just those that came before, the teachers, the mentors, all of that, some of which gave their life and had a very torturous life back then, and yet it's in our blood to continue on. So we didn't let the persecution of witches and witchcraft or anything else that you follow, we didn't let that stop us from moving forward on this journey. And so I will reflect on that, and I will give gratitude and much honor for that, and for the gift that I now have. And I'm going to really, really work on trying to use it wisely. And so I hope y'all do the same. And whatever you do, be blessed. Have a great Samhain, a great Halloween, and hope for the best. See you soon. Bye.